Hey there, true believers, it's me, the Superhero Critic, and I'm here with my very first review. Now, I have to say that I have a plethora of content to choose from, and I'm happy to say that the producers have decided that my first review will be Daredevil. Alright, so it starts off starring Charlie Cox, and I just... What? Doing the review. Yeah, it's Daredevil. What? What? Back in the 90s, Marvel was facing bankruptcy, and one of its properties, in this case Daredevil, was sold to Fox in 1997 to make a feature film. Rights, however, expired, meaning they went back to Marvel, who then resold those rights to Sony. But in 2000, Sony canceled, resulting in New Regency now producing the film, with Fox distributing. Mark Steven Johnson wrote the screenplay and signed on to direct. Clearly a talented individual. After all, he's made such amazing works like Jack Frost and The Grudge Match. Yep, no idea what you're saying here. I can't read Braille, and something tells me if I were blind, I couldn't read if it's on a screen either. Sorry, no time for the opening credits. We've reached the end of the movie. If only it were that fucking simple. The movie actually starts off in a flashback to Matt Murdock's childhood in the rough streets of New York, called
In Hell's Kitchen. The politicians and the real estate developers call it Clinton now.
Where he's picked on by bullies, who if they were any more cliche, I'd expect them to give him a noogie.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home?
His father, a former boxer now working for a mobster, wants his son to focus on his education instead of fighting like him. But after Matt sees the truth firsthand, it leads to his accident.
This is the song written for the train chase. This is the chase, Rocky and Ken. He tried to kill me with a forklift. Yo, Mannix. Ba-da-da-da.
The movie seems to imply that electricity had a hand in giving him his extra senses. I wonder... Hey, you! Huh? You'll thank me when you have super senses. Both Matt and his father decide to get their lives back on track regardless of their handicaps, his blindness and his dad's age. It's a good message. Which is immediately ruined by putting a blind child on a rooftop, unsupervised. So the mob boss Fallon, no, not that Fallon, this Fallon, who's also this guy, and for a bonus, his bodyguard here is this guy. Now right here, we have a setup for Jason Voorhees versus Daredevil, and I immediately have come up with a better movie.
They're all my fighters. Just like you. And now it's your turn to take a fall.
He doesn't. Of course, this leads to exactly what you think it does. God, all this stuff looks so familiar. Flash forward 15 years where Matt sleeps in a water coffin and practices law as a public defender, as you do, and after what is a pretty good fight scene, he tracks down Jose Quesada, who cheated the court earlier that day.
Hey, that light at the end of the tunnel, guess what? That's not heaven. I'm killing you! I'm killing you! That's the C train! I'm killing you!
That line is so bad, it makes me want to scoop my eardrum out with a serrated melon baller. The only way it could be any worse if it were this.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
I don't know why you read that trash.
I've been hearing stories about this guy for years. There's got to be something to it.
The next day, he meets with his partner Foggy when in walks her.
She's a babe!
So Matt tracks her down, and after maintaining a very low profile, his dream woman's name is revealed to be...
My name's Electra Nachos.
I'm Nachos.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the 300-pound elephant in the room. And that is the fact that Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck split in 2015. It must be awkward for their kids to even watch this movie. Oh, and Michael Clark Duncan is the Kingpin. Anyway, Elektra's father wants to leave the Kingpin's criminal organization, but he's reluctant, and of course, you would be too, because, you know, it's kind of hard to cover up the fact that this guy unleashed a mummy apocalypse on humanity. It is from this point right here where my director's cut plot begins, because I need to understand Mark Steven Johnson's vision. And he does this by injecting a murder charge against Coolio. My hopes are now very high. Just like Coolio is. Hi-oh! Did you know that Colin Farrell, Matt Damon, and Vin Diesel were all considered to play the role of Daredevil? Vin Diesel in particular opted out for another project, which would become The Fast and the Furious. So the Kingpin hires a top marksman and assassin named Bullseye, who likes to draw on his forehead in ballpoint pen to kill Elektra's father.
Well, the Irish piece of trash.
Meanwhile, Elektra reconnects with Matt, and after a very romantic stroll/wet t-shirt show, they make it back to her place for sex. Did I say sex? I'm sorry. This being the director's cut, they completely removed that scene and instead focused on his life as Daredevil. So don't blame me for not showing you that scene.
I'm not the bad guy.
Matt receives an invitation to the Black and White Ball in his very messy law office,
It looks like the set of goddamn Sanford and Son. Every time I walk in, I'm waiting for Lamont to walk down the stairs.
where they finally come face to face with the Kingpin.
You're the blind lawyers from Hell's Kitchen.
That joke's too easy. I'm not gonna do it. Forget all that shit, because Bullseye's here and he's stealing Frank Miller's motorcycle. He manages to chase down the limo, and after he gets the upper hand on Daredevil, kills Elektra's father. Of all the scenes in Daredevil, this one bugs me the most. Bullseye steals Daredevil's club and then throws it at least 30 yards, impaling his sternum by at least 6 inches. There is just no fucking way, comic book or no, that he is going to do that.
Bullseye.
I don't care if your name...
Bullseye.
Yeah, but you see the speed and distance.
Bullseye.
It's also never been established that you have superhuman strength.
Bullseye.
Fine, yes, Bullseye, whatever. Oh, did you think I was done talking about the scene? Fuck no, I'm not. In addition to all of that shit I just mentioned, Elektra starts shooting at Daredevil. Some of you were thinking that I'm talking about her shooting at him to begin with. That's not it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just pointing out there is a perfectly good club right next to her. So after the funeral, Urich discovers who Daredevil really is with the help of Kevin Smith.
Pretty weird shit right here, man, right?
And with that, we have 3 cameos that this film disappoints. So after a brief training montage featuring Evanescence, which I cut out, you're welcome. Oh god, okay, the big fight scene. Alright, let's see. Daredevil fights Elektra. Elektra penetrates Daredevil. She finds out that he's really Matt Murdock. She forgives him almost instantly. Why? I don't know. I mean, you did think he killed your father. Bullseye shows up. kills Elektra, and then drops that damn rose again. Seriously, all of this evidence is mounting up to nothing. Who is in charge of the police department?
It was about 4 p.m. when I returned to police squad.
Oh, okay, after all that, what's next? The movie starts over. No! Oh, thank God. It was just a flashback. Oh, okay. So Bullseye tracks Daredevil down and throws a collection plate, hitting him right in the throat, which, based on earlier club throwing, should have decapitated him. God, he must have a strong neck. So Daredevil and Bullseye fight their way up the church, where Bullseye finally realizes Daredevil's one weakness: really loud noise. But this doesn't help him, as he still manages to get hit in the head with a club, which I think should have made his head explode, really. No, I'm not letting the club thing go! Daredevil finally gets the upper hand and then tosses him out a fucking window.
Bullseye.
Easiest joke in the review. So that pretty much wraps everything up. Oh, no, wait, we have one more fight. Oh God, we have one more fight.
They call you the man without fear. That's true. Why are you afraid to show your face? I don't believe it. No. The blind lawyer from Hell's Kitchen.
Fine.
Who the fuck are you to turn around and tell me when you work like a pig? You French pig!
Can we move on now? Really, there's not a whole lot to say about this fight. Kingpin gets the advantage of Daredevil. He turns it around and kicks him in the shins, which looks like it really fucking hurts. And the police are coming to arrest the Kingpin because they found out the truth. That's pretty much it.
This is for you, Dad.
So to wrap everything up, Coolio is found innocent and released. Kingpin is in jail. Matt reconnects with his Catholicism. Bullseye is alive. Ulrich knows the truth but deletes his story. And we finally find out that Elektra is also alive. From a box office perspective, the film did okay, grossing over $179 million after its run in theaters and receiving mixed reviews, resulting in a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes. But of course, I've been watching the director's cut, which adds in the Coolio subplot and is a little more violent with an R rating. So does the director's cut improve the film? In the end, Daredevil gets about 3.5 grinning teeth Afflecks. 4 if you're looking at the director's cut. Ben Affleck, of course, would get another chance at playing a different superhero years later in Batman v Superman. A better role, but not a better movie. Your day is coming, motherfucker! But first, we've got other stuff to deal with.
Some pretty weird shit right here, man, right?